Alright. Got the stream going. Everything looks good. Switch off these bright. Alexa, switch the lights to blue. Alright. Let's. Recording's going. I think the stream's looking proper. I think it's all set up finally. Let's hop into it. So I'm not really gonna go through any like tutorial or explanation on any of this. I'm just kind of gonna jump in and start coding. The plan is to build out a password vault application that's gonna be hopefully a full project all the way through, but we'll see how this goes. And hopefully we'll have an executable that we can run at the end that's fully functional, but we'll see how things go. I might finish this out on another stream depending how long it takes, but I'm hoping I can get it all done on this stream. So I'm just gonna do some basic setup stuff on the top here. Password vault. We're gonna do our imports. From tkinter import. Import star. If I could spell, this might be rough. Import SQLite 3. And I think those are all the imports we need, at least for now. Okay. Tkinter is the GUI, SQLite is the database. I think that's everything we need for now. So we'll start off by setting up our database. And we're just going to say con SQLite3.connect, and we're just going to call this PV. So it's nice and easy to, if I could spell, there we go. And we're going to set our cursor up. I guess it's probably not auto-completing. I need to set the interpreter. One sec here while I set that up. Python interpreter 3.9. I know it doesn't bring it up on stream, but I just had to set up the interpreter so it would take the packages and read this properly and autocomplete my stuff for me. Let's quickly set the next song. Come back in. And we're gonna say this is gonna be the login table, or I don't know what we should call this, account table. C.execute create table if not exists accounts, because I'm hoping to be able to set up where we can have multiple different accounts storing multiple different passwords, like different password vaults based on which account you're logged in on, and then you can have it saved to your computer, log in, have different accounts with different vaults. And we're gonna say username is a text and password is a text. And then we're gonna say con.commit just to save that. And that's all of our database stuff. Oh no, I guess we have to create we also have to create a table for the password vault. Create another table if not exists. And this one's gonna be, we're just gonna call this one vault, I guess. Keep things simple. And this one's going to take an organization, which is going to be a text, a username, which will be a text, and a password, which will be a text. And then we're going to say, you know what, that music's probably too loud. There we go, that might be a little easier to hear me now over top of the music. So we have our account table, our password table. We're gonna define the login screen. And in here we're just gonna set, you know what, actually up here I wanna create a couple variables. Should I do that underneath my database, or, okay, you know what, we're gonna set it above our database. Variables, small window is going to be equal to 300x300. Large window is going to be, and we're going to set this one maybe 700 by 500. Something like that. Small font is going to be, we're going to set this Helvetica, set it to 12. Large font is going to be Helvetica, say 24, double the size. Small window, large window, small font, large font. I think that's all the ones we're going to do for now. So we're just going to say equals TK. A.title, we're just going to call this password vault login. Geometry is going to be small window. Our first label is just going to be like a header. Set it root to A with a text of just login. Font equal to large font. I think that's all we need for that. Label dot. We're just gonna pack these. Label 1. It's gonna be label. Text is gonna be username. Font is going to be small fonts. Label 1.pack. This one. UN. It's going to be entry. A with a width of, set 20. UN. Pack that one. A text, this one's going to be password. Font is going to be small font. And then password ent is going to be entry a width equals 20 and show equals star. Not .get, .pack. Okay, so we have our login, username entry, password entry, and then we need a login button. Login button equals button. Text on that one is going to be, say sign in, maybe, just so that it's not repetitive login all over the page. Background's gonna be light gray. font is going to be small font, and I want this to be bold. And we're going to say command equals check. If I could spell. And then we're going to define that check up here. And when we do check, we need to do c dot, okay, no, we need to say username is going to be equal to un and dot get, and then password is going to be password and dot get, and we're going to say c dot select password from accounts where username equals dot username. Get our association in here. Username is going to be username. Just going to grab the password where the username matches that username in the database. If there is none, there won't be an entry. We're going to say check password is going to be equal to c dot fetch one string check password dot strip. I'm gonna actually create a strip variable up here because I'm gonna be using the strip key a lot. Strip is gonna be equal to this strip. Then we need that. That one. That one. And one more. And that should strip it properly. If it works out how I want it to. Make sure this is all indented properly, formatted. Strip.strip our strip string, our variable. And then we're going to say if password equals check password. And we're going to, I'm actually going to create another label up here that's empty that'll change based off of if the password was correct or not. So label 3 equals a label. And font, small fonts. And we're gonna say label 3.pack that. If the passwords match, we're gonna say label 3.config. Foreground equals, we're gonna set this to green. We're gonna say text equals login successful. Else label 3. This is just so I can see if this function's working because we're gonna test this right after. If not, then foreground equals red and text equals invalid username or password. And then we just need to, if my scroll would work. Okay, it doesn't want to scroll. It'll scroll that way, but not horizontally. Okay, whatever. Login button dot pack that one. And believe that's it for our login method. And we're just gonna call login. We're gonna run this. And I know you guys aren't gonna be able to see what it looks like while it's running. expected integer but got bold. Okay, you know what? Maybe we'll just say small font because I'm not sure if I can fix that or not. That's right. We forgot to call root or a dot main loop. So you're not going to be able to see the GUI once it loads up, I don't think. But it's a pretty standard. Let me see. I'm just going to delete this. Hold on. I'm not going to be able to see things for a second here. It's just going to be a black screen. Let me add new source. And I'm just going to do screen capture. And anything on screen too. There we go. So now you should be able to see. Yes, you can. Let me just get this to size of the window so that you can see everything that's going on here. There we go. It's not the prettiest view of it, but it really doesn't matter that much. Okay, so here is what we built with this little login function that we wrote. And we can say there's nobody in the database right now, so no matter what I type, it should give us, we're going to say username, password. Should give us, yeah, invalid username or password. And this can actually probably be 300 by 200. And I'm just gonna add, okay, you know what, no, I'm actually not gonna do that. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna manually add in somebody so I can test it. So up here we'll do it c.execute insert into accounts username, password, values dot username dot password. Come out here and we're gonna say username. We're gonna set this to test account and password. We're gonna set to test 123. So we're gonna run this once, and then I'll comment it out. Drag this over. That looks a little bit better. And we're gonna say, let me just comment this out so it doesn't create 100 of these test accounts really fast. Where did my application go? There we go. Password vault login. And if we do test, it's gonna give us invalid username and password. But if we do test account, test 1 2 test 1 2 3. Okay, that's not working. Let me run it again, see if it was an error with me typing it in wrong the first time and then trying to change it. Test. How do we write that? Test account. And password is equal to test 1 2 3. Okay. Something's not right. If we go inside of this, I'm actually just gonna quickly come under here and print our password and print our check password. Run this. I just want to see in the terminal view what happens here. make this so you can see the results. I'm gonna say test account, test 1, 2, 3. So this is test 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, and this is none. So why is this none? Okay, maybe we should just delete these. Let me open up the database and see if it added our test account. Table accounts, create table accounts. Scroll for the information, should be somewhere here. Somewhere in these blocks it should be holding test account. Okay. Maybe it just legit did not save the account, so we'll try it again, because I'm not sure why this isn't working. It should be. We'll test. That's not test. Test accounts. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we have the account. Now it's actually in there, so we can comment this out this time. And we can delete this, but it's not stripping the way I want it to for some reason. Oh no, not delete at all. We're just gonna say check password is equal to string check password dot strip. Now if we run this, will that strip those characters away from me like I need it to? Test account, test 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, so now the passwords match. Comes up green, login successful, so we can move on with what we're doing here. We're just gonna say, let me see here. So we have our login function built. We can delete this test account information because it's an easy enough login to remember while we're testing. Down here we need to create our vault screen. Excuse me. We're just gonna call this vaults. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of GUI setup. So we're gonna say root equals tk. Root.title is gonna be account vaults. Root.geometry is gonna be large screen. Gonna be equal to large screen. It's not called large screen, I spelled that wrong anyway, large window. And then just gonna leave it like that. We're gonna create we're gonna call this title equals label roots text equals vaults, font equals large font, title dot pack, frame is gonna be our vault, password vault frame. Maybe I shouldn't name it something that complicated. Maybe we'll just say vault frame is equal to, actually call this, no, we'll say frame. It's gonna be roots. Width is gonna be, if the screen's 700, we're gonna say 500. If the is 500 or 700 by 500, I'm gonna set height equal to 300 maybe. Let's see what this looks like. And I'm just gonna set background equal to light gray for now. Vault frame pack. And then we're gonna say we need buttons, so we're gonna have buttons here. We're gonna say add account button is equal to a button root text equals root text equals add account, font equals small font, background equals white, and then we'll say, I guess we don't really need to say background equals white, as the default kind of comes as white. Root add account, font is small font. Give this a width of, we'll give them all a width of 8 and a height of 3 maybe. Let's see what this looks like. Add account button dot, and actually the root, okay, dot, no, I guess that's right. And then we have our add account function. We need our delete account button equals button root text equals delete account, font equals small font, width equals 8, height equals 3. And really I should store those in variables, the width and height, but I'm not going to bother with it for now. Root button dot pack, I'm going to pad x equals 10. Maybe pad x should equal 20. And then we'll add button, delete button, and maybe an edit account button is going to be our button. Append it to the root, text equals edit account, font equals small font, width equals 8, height equals 3, edit account button dot pack. So we have our basic setup. Now in our login screen, underneath of our check function, instead of just changing login to green, we're gonna call the vault screen, and then we're gonna say a dot destroy. We'll just get rid of this after they've logged in. So we can bring this into test. If we call test account, and we'll type in a wrong password just to show it still works, and then we'll say 1 2 3. There we go. And there's our vault screen. Those buttons need to change size a little bit. Width, height, okay, so I mean, it looks right outside of those buttons being broken. So width, set these to 12 maybe, and set height to 1. Run this. Pull the screen over. Test account, test 1, 2, 3. Sign in. There we go. That looks better. So we have our vault, add account, delete account, edit account. And then when we have accounts in the database, they're going to read out here. And maybe we should have an update button because SQLite doesn't always like to refresh these things automatically after they've been added. So we'll say update vault button is a button en route with a text of update vault font equals small font with a width equal to 12 and a height equal to 1. Let's see what time we're at here because it's getting late. I've only been streaming for 30 minutes, but didn't realize how late it was. Okay. Maybe I should be placing these so I can place them side by side because that's kind of why I did pad X20 on that one. I think I'm gonna do it this way. I think I'm gonna change these to place so that I can get this right. Okay. If the vault screen is 500 wide and the screen is 700, there's about 100 in between. So x equals 100, y equals, it's 300 large with a width of 500, so say about 100 on each side. So we need to go down to like not that 400 I think is gonna be close. I'm gonna have to play with these numbers, but this is definitely gonna be close. I'm just gonna run this and see where we're at here. So we pull over test account, we'll log in, pull it over here, and it doesn't show. Unknown option pad X. Oh, I guess when you're packing things you can't do a padding inside of it. Okay. That's fine. Stop this, run it one more time, and we'll see where we get to. Test, log into our test account. Test 1, 2, 3, sign in. There we go. Okay, so we came down too far, but we're right on with where we wanted to be with the vault screen. Not 400, we'll say maybe 300 or 350. We'll try 300 first and see where that gets us. Actually, you know what? Yeah, okay, we'll try 300 first, see where that gets us. So, dragging our login screen, test, account, test 1, 2, 3. Log into that. Okay, so I was right. We'll probably do it at 330, maybe that's better. GUI with tkinter, that's the only thing that sucks, is it's a lot of, if you don't do it properly and set it up with gridding properly and all that, which I don't really want to mess around with gridding. It's kind of just play around with the X and Y until you get it in a spot you like. So 330 wasn't enough. 350 will probably be too much. I could be wrong, maybe. Oh, I guess I should drag this over. Test count, log in. What would I say, 340? That's about right. Maybe not though. Okay, 350. And so now this should be good. So we can change all of these to place X. Maybe give them space of about 100 each. I can actually just copy this and fill it in for the other two. 300 and 400, because this is 500 wide. Maybe those should be a little bit more spaced out even. We'll see where we get to. Test account, test 1, 2, 3, sign in. Yeah, so they're pretty much where I want them to be. They just need to be spaced out more. So we're actually going to pull this one back to 80, set this one to 200, so plus 120 on each one, 320 and 440. Something like that should be right. Test account, test 1, 2, 3, sign in. Not quite. And we can almost just move these back. So 100, 220, 340, 460. Still a lot of playing around with just where the buttons are lined up and not actually doing any functional things, but I want to get this to look good before I start building in the functions and messing with all the different things I need this to do. So we'll say test 1, 2, 3 one more time, sign in. This should be good, I hope. It works for now, but eye appealing wise, I would want to shift this over 10 or 20 pixels for all of them. But that's fine, we'll leave it for now. Okay, so we need to create functions for all of these things. Define add account, pass, define delete account, pass, define edit an account, pass, and define update the vault, and pass. Firstly, we need to Firstly, we need to go to add account. We need to do our add account function first, and with that, we need to say we'll create a new window. And you know what? Actually, this label 3 shouldn't be a label. I'm just thinking GUI and like just reasonable reasons. Because we can come down here and instead we can say, for this one we just call the vault screen and then we destroy it if they logged in successfully, and if not we're just going to say message box dot show info, gonna say login credentials invalid username or password. If I could spell. Invalid username or password. \n, put it on a new line. Try again. And that should work better than what I had it do originally. Now, underneath of when we click add account, we want to call a subscreen TK. This is going to be password vault add accounts b.geometry. It's going to be small window. And okay, we're going to say label 1 is going to be a label, and this is going to be organization / website. We're going to set it to B. This is going to be the text is organization / website, and font is going to be small font. Pack, say org, and is entry, width of 20, org, and dot pack, label 1, label, b, text equals username they want to save, font is small font, label 1.pack, user, and it's going to be entry, b, width is going to be, set this one equal to 20, user and dot pack, almost done, label 2 equals label, b, text equals password, font is going to be small font, label 2 dot pack, and then password and is going to be entry, b, width is going to be 20, and show. We're actually just going to leave that in so they can see what they're typing. Password ent dot pack. And within here we need an actual submit or save account button equals button, text equals add. Or maybe there should be save. Font is going to be small font. Background is going to be light gray. Command is going to be save account. We're going to define the save account function. In save account, we're going to say org equals orgent.get, user equals user and dot get, and password equals password and dot get. C dot execute, insert into vault, say org user password values .org.user.password. Think that's all right. And then org is going to be org. User is going to be user. And password is going to be password. Con.commit. Message box.show fo. Add account. Account successfully saved to database. And so we have functions inside a function. This is going to get to be a lot soon. I'll start losing my spot. If we go, we'll close up this save account function. And we'll close up this add account function. We'll actually just close these all real quick. Underneath the add account button, we're going to give it a command of add account. Now if we run this, we're going to pull this screen out. Test account login, test 3, sign in. We get our vault screen. If we click add account, we should open up another screen, which is going to be like our form. For this one, we're just going to say Instagram. Or actually, we're going to say account vault, just a test. Test account is the name of the username, and the password is test123. What happened? We saved it, but it didn't save. So, did I not define the save account? Okay, we're just gonna print added to DB. We'll see what happens with that. Oh, we've been at this for an hour. Test account, test 1, 2, 3. Sign in, we get our vault screen. Add account, we get our add account screen. Just say Instagram, or yeah, we'll do this one, Instagram. Test IG. Test IG password. Okay, here we go. Table vault has no column named user. So I see where I went wrong there. Okay. Save account. Username. 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 Now, theoretically, if we close this stuff out, and actually after the message box pops up, I'm just gonna say b.destroy. Okay, run this up yet again. Test account. Login by test account. Add account. Organization, we're gonna say password vault. Test account. test 1, 2, 3. There we go. Account successfully added to DB. Close that and it destroys the screen. Now we need it to be printing here. So that's our next issue. And actually to do that, we just need to define the update screen, update vault method. And we're gonna say here, label text c.execute actually, and we're gonna say select star from select users username from account. Where how would we want to do this? Select password from account. No, from vault. That's what we called it, right? From vault. Select password from vault. And we're gonna say list t password equals c.fetch all for password for I in range lang vault no lang list password, sorry. We're gonna say label root, I believe, no, we want it to be in the vault frame where the text is going to equal c.execute star select star from vault. You know what, let's get some music going in here. I'm starting to fall asleep. Okay. Vault frame is what we wanted there. And the text is gonna be equal c.select star from vault. Let's say we're actually select star from vault. Vault info is gonna be c.fetch all. And we're gonna say string vault info dot strip from label vault frame text is going to be equal to that vault info font small font dot pack. So actually, you know what? We'll grid these. This isn't gonna give us an ideal layout, and I'm gonna fix it later. Row equals 0, column is also equal to 0. Underneath update password, update vault, we need to call update vault as the command. And let's see what's going on here. I could actually just skip this login thing. But test account test 1 2 3 forces me to make sure everything's still working after I make my updates. Okay, so if we click update vault, and then so we get password vault test account test 1 2 3. So that's one of our accounts. Now if we add a new account, pulls up this chart, Instagram, and then test Instagram, test IG password. We save that and we update vault. We get Instagram, test IG password. Okay. The problem with this is it's not stripping the things that I want it to strip, which makes it hard to want it to start on a new line when I need it to. What if we do this on a whole different line? Vault info dot strip run. Pull this over. Test account. Test 1 2 3. We sign that in. We add our account. No, we do not add our account. We update vault. So that made it even worse, almost, because we didn't have the outer layer brackets before. So why does dot strip not always strip these things? Alright, you know what? We're gonna come back to this one. Eventually, I want it to be where... Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do it this way. We're just gonna call vaults. Eventually, because this is gonna pull up the... vault. No, okay, no, it's not because there's no main loop on the vault. So we're gonna say login. So we do actually have to go through this login process unless I put a new main loop function or call in. Test account for the millionth time. Test 1 2 3. Sign in. Look at our vaults. And eventually, okay, so this is why I pulled it up. Eventually, I would like it to be where the accounts all automatically update. And they're in this box, and they're all selectable pieces of information. I gotta figure out how to do that with tkinter again. I know how, I just can't remember the function for it with tkinter. Yeah, so I want it to be able to click and highlight, and then I want to be able to click and highlight multiple or just one, and then based off if multiple are highlighted, we can delete them. If one is highlighted, we can delete, edit them, or update them. And then just our add account, we don't actually need to have anything highlighted because it pulls in on its own little widget that has nothing to do with what's already on the vault screen. So I'm trying to think, how can I make these not be just, because when I look here under our update, we're setting a list to be a string. Okay, can we even set a list to be a string? Because it starts out as a list. Let me just create a new test.py, because I want to see really quickly if we had a list. And we're going to say this list holds test accounts. No. Count vault test accounts test 1, 2, 3. If we were to string lst or list equals string list, can we print lst, right click, run test, print type lst, print type lst. So it starts off as a list, then it becomes a string. Now what if we were to say lst equals string lst dot strip, and we do these manually. It does not have that, and that one. Print lst. Now if we print these, oh my god. Okay, what if it's because we need to remove it like this, where these things are connected in one string. Plus that one, and then this one is like this. What happens if we do that? We're still getting the same thing. So for char in list, if char equals this, say word, actually gonna say word equals it. I'm just trying to think of ways to get around this stripping method without getting too complicated, but I think it's a little, like, I'm gonna do it. This isn't gonna be the ideal way, but I just want to see if this will fix our problem. If char equals or char equals or char equals or char equals or char equals, then we're gonna pass else word plus equals char, and then we're gonna print word. Account vault test account test 1 2 3. Okay, that's not ideal, but it worked, so I guess we can say what do we call this? We'll just call it our label equals an empty string for char in vault info, and I'm just gonna come here and actually copy this line. Pass else label dot plus equals char, and this is gonna be label. Run this. Nope. Run main. Let's see. We run test account, test 1 2 3. Sign in. Update vault. Password vault, test account 1 2 3. Instagram. Okay. So it worked. We forgot to remove the brackets. And we need a way to tell if this is the end of if this is the end of the information on that one, and then create a new line to print it, like, and then start printing on the next line. But I'm not sure how we're gonna do that. So I wonder how I can test and see. Test count, test 1 2 3, login, update vault. So now we're getting password vault, test account, test 1 2 3, Instagram, test IG password. What if we get rid of the or char equals an empty space, we pass, and then we say pass if char equals an empty space, we can how do we do this? Table dot config text equals \n. I'm thinking of scratching the SQL database from this and running it on a text document, because in the text document I can control an ending character on these and then print a new line based off if the ending character comes up. Because somehow I don't think this is gonna work the way I want it to at all. Actually, I know it's not gonna work. Test account, test 1, 2, 3. I'm just thinking out loud and trying it anyway. Update vaults. One argument missing, self. That's not gonna work. Yeah, so I'm probably going to end this stream and this recording, and then tomorrow when I pick it up, I'm probably gonna give up on this SQL database, write it and read it all in a text document, and then encrypt the text document whenever we're not reading and writing to it for it, whatever the case may be. I'm just trying to think if that's the best way to do it, considering we've done all this SQL, all this building around the fact that we're using SQL. But I don't know. See, like, we managed to get this information on screen and get a couple different functions working. The issue is going to come when we need to recognize and update the screen based off of how many accounts we're trying to show. And then I guess the other problem with not using SQLite 3, no, that doesn't have to do with SQLite 3. That would have to do with Tkinter as a GUI system. I was going to say we won't be able to, if I pull up the vault here, we won't be able to click and select, but that's not true. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it's the database information. That's just Tkinter's thing. So we have our add account function.